You are 21 years old. You're in a university, and your accounting professor said that the Big Four is the only path that really matters. And you believe him. Level 1, the intern. They put you in a nice downtown hotel, they hand you the corporate card, and buy you a nice steak dinner. They fly you out to national training. It feels like a corporate summer camp. There's open bars, branded lanyards, branded water bottles, and zero real responsibility. You earn more this summer than your parents made in their first years of working. The work feels deceptively and incredibly easy. You format spreadsheets, you order dinner and lunches for the team. You think this is exactly what corporate success looks like now. The seniors treat you like royalty because they need you to sign. They hide their deep exhaustion from you completely. The partner shakes your hand at the farewell dinner, and the return offer is huge, so you happily sign the paperwork immediately. You go back to college for your final year. You feel secure, but you don't know what you just bought. Level 2, the first year associate. You are now 22 years old. It is January, the corporate card is gone, and the nice steak dinner is gone. Your first assignment is a physical inventory count. You stand inside a freezing warehouse counting boxes of frozen chicken. You are wearing a neon yellow safety vest. The warehouse manager resents you, and you can't even properly use the clipboard. Welcome to the busy season. You're staring at a bank reconciliation with a $4 million variance at midnight. Your senior tells you to look at last year's work paper. They say Sally, S-A-L-Y, same as last year. It becomes your new religion. You do not understand what you're ticking and tying. You're simply painting the spreadsheet green and praying. You eat a sad dinner from a plastic container at your desk while the cleaning staff vacuums around your feet. It's Sunday morning. You're opening up the laptop at the kitchen counter. The deep anxiety feeling settles in your chest. Your hourly rate, factored for a 70-hour work week, is now below minimum wage. So you stop doing the math entirely. Level 3, the second year associate. You're now 23 years old. You must now know things you were never actually officially taught. You must pass the CPA exam. The firm gives you a bonus, but the government takes half immediately. You spend every weekend at a testing center. Your non-accounting friends stop inviting you out. You end up declining everything. You learn about utilization rates. You must bill every hour, but you absolutely cannot blow the engagement strict budget. This is, well, the impossible corporate paradox of many billable jobs. You eat your hours. You work 10 hours, but really you're only recording 8. The system slightly demands it, so if you build true hours, your manager gets angry, and if you don't, then you suffer. You receive extension review notes from the manager. There are 70 comments on a cash section. You kind of feel incompetent. Half the notes are purely stylistic. They want a specific shade of yellow highlighting. You change it at midnight. You start senioring large engagements before you have the title. You do the senior work for associate pay. Level 4, the senior. You are now 25 years old. You make roughly $95,000 a year, and you are the firm's absolute engine. The manager talks to the client, the associate stares at a wall. You actually have to bill everything. You review terrible work papers prepared by someone who knows nothing, for a manager who forgot how to test. You're fielding complex questions from the offshore team in Bangalore at 3 in the morning, and the delay is maddening. You write incredibly detailed instructions. The offshore team follows them literally, making the final results completely unusable. You're the main contact for a hostile client controller who has 30 years of experience overview. Recruiters flood your inbox. Senior financial analyst, accounting manager, better pay, real, actual weekends, but for now you keep grinding and ignore them. The firm counters your burnout with a cheap pizza party. You expense 3 pepperoni pies to a generic code. You sit in a windowless room with your associates. You guys can trauma bond over bad coffee and impossible revenue testing. You are seeking that elusive manager title. It is the gold standard of industry exits. Just 2 more busy seasons to get through. The PCAOB selects your engagement for inspection. The partner panics entirely, and now you bear the actual physical burden. You spend 3 weeks rewriting history. You add elaborate tick marks to old documents to perfectly justify your decisions. You heavily document long conversations that never actually happened. The file must look like a flawless execution of methodology. You now lose your best associate to a tech startup. You're happy for them, but now, well, your workload doubles instantly. You are now drowning, and so of course you tell your manager. Your manager nods sympathetically and gives you a massive inventory section. Level 5, the manager. You are 28. Your salary is $130,000. Now, the daily work at this point changes completely. You no longer test controls. You test the budgets. You manage client expectations, partner anxiety, and senior burnout. You spend your entire day in status meetings. You actually do your real job between 6 p.m. and midnight. You write billing narratives and performance reviews. You spend your days explaining why the audit is delayed again. A client controller yells at you over a proposed journal entry. You take it. The firm needs the revenue. You look at your favorite senior. She has not slept in a week. You remember exactly what that felt like. So you take her out to coffee. You tell her it always gets better. You're secretly unsure if it really does. The partner asks you to lower engagement hours without reducing quality. This is, well, of course, physically and mathematically completely impossible. You start ghostwriting emails for the partner. You prepare the slide decks they present to the audit committee. You attend a conference in Las Vegas. Everyone here now acts like the rock stars, so you drink heavily to forget all those unbilled hours. You're middle management now. You catch the blame from partners and the sheer panic from your seniors. Your non-accounting friends are buying nice houses. Well, you're buying expensive takeout because you lack any of that true free time. Although the exit opportunities are lucrative now. Controller, director of reporting, but the golden handcuffs are actually getting much, much tighter. Level 6, you've made it to senior manager. You're now 31 years old. You make roughly $180,000 a year, though you are trapped in professional purgatory. You know too much to leave for a lateral role, but you're not yet generating your own book. You manage 4 huge engagements. Your calendar is a wall of colored blocks, and really you're double booking every hour. You attend partner track training. They tell you to build a personal brand, so you have to forget who you are. Your spouse asks when you're going to take a vacation. You say right after the Q3 client filings finish. Q3 rolls into year-end planning. The vacation becomes a weekend where you check your emails every 10 minutes. You stare at the partner org chart. You realize now someone has to either retire or die to enable your advancement. You pick up golf, and you actually hate golf, but the CFO likes it, so you spend thousands on lessons and equipment. The firm introduces a new software to save time, but it ends up adding 20 hours of administration time. You are now officially exhausted. You fire a struggling associate. It makes you sick and sad, but the internal utilization metrics actively demanded the move. You sit alone at night. You calculate the exact cost of leaving versus the massive partner buyout. Level 7, you've made it to the director stage. You're now 34 years old and make roughly $240,000 a year. You wait right in the wings. This title is a holding pattern. The firm likes you, but there's no immediate room for you. You're trying to sell consulting to clients who already buy your audit. You must prove origination. You take clients to expensive dinners, you laugh at their terrible jokes. You're cultivating the essential relationship. Friends who left as senior are now VPs, making $300K with stock units. You just watch from the office. You stayed behind. You tell yourself the partnership pension makes up for it. The deferred gratification is the whole point. You review independence guidelines. You own no individual stocks, and your only investment is a simple target date fund. You get to fly across the country for a pitch meeting, but you lose the bid to a rival firm anyways. The partner blames the pricing model, but you know the clients simply like the other team better than yours. You finally get the tap on the shoulder. The admission committee has officially approved your elevation to partnership. Level 8, the partner. You're now probably 37 years old, and you finally buy into the firm. You sign a massive loan. Your base is $400,000. and your draw depends on firm metrics. The liability is now strictly and purely personal. Your name goes on the audit opinion. If the client commits fraud, your signature is on trial. You spend days at golf courses and boardrooms. You're no longer just the accountant. You sell trust. You sell the brand. You sell the illusion that your exhausted associates are actually seasoned industry experts. You end up missing your daughter's recital because the audit chair called, and you cannot ignore the audit committee chairman. So you made it to the top. You look around and realize the mountain continues, and, well, the pressure actually never stops. The pressure shifts from doing the work to maintaining these relationships, as you're now the face of the firm. You manage margins viciously. You push senior managers to squeeze more unbilled hours out of the junior staff. You know what it does because it happened to you, but the machine constantly requires this fresh human fuel. The machine requires fresh associates. The university supply them reliably every autumn, and the cycle perfectly continues forever. You smile at these recruiting events, and you confidently repeat the same lies the old partners once told you. You say that these big four companies are a family, but you secretly know it's a highly ruthless corporate pyramid. Though you now sit up at the top of the pyramid, and the view up there is absolutely excellent, though the air is thin. Now let's take a look from the other side, the CFO route. You left that manager role about 7 years ago, and you're now 35 years old. You make double the money, your equity package vests quarterly, and you finally get to see your family on the weekends, hopefully. You are instead the client now, and you sit across from your old partner during the annual audit meetings. You dictate the audit fees, you set the deadlines, and the old power dynamic has completely flipped for good. The partner now laughs at your jokes. They clear schedules for you, but you know how desperate they are. You just watched a terrified young associate try to ask you a question during the final fieldwork phase. They're shaking, but you answer them patiently, because you do remember exactly what that pure terror really felt like. You know they're working on a redundant spreadsheet that absolutely no one will ever look at again. You know they eat cold takeout. You know they're also terrified of their senior manager's review notes. You close your laptop at 5 o'clock on Thursday. You grab your bag and you simply walk out. The audit team is huddled up in a windowless room. They will stay up until midnight checking useless numbers. You get to walk to your car. You drive home without checking your phone at every red light. The ecosystem is a brutal machine. It turns this youth and optimism into highly structured, compliant data. It taught you discipline and endurance. It taught you the exact limits of your own personal sanity. Now, you respect the firm deeply. You're grateful for the relentless training and that golden resume stamp. But you would never go back. You escaped that maze that most people never fully survive. You check your watch. Your child has a game, but you'll arrive long before it starts today. Meanwhile, an intern is sitting down to a free steak dinner, holding the shiny new credit card. They're smiling. You think they just conquered the world, but they have no idea what just started. Now the cycle continues flawlessly year after year. The machine, the pyramid, it never stops eating, and it always finds new people to feed the engine. That's the truth. You either leave early or stay long enough to become the next partner. So the choice is yours. The cost is everything you're willing to surrender to them forever.